Alright, yo, what's up? My name's Patrouski, and this is going to be a very different style of video. I'm actually just going to be covering the PokeMMO Code of Conduct today as clearly as I possibly can. I've actually never read through all of this. I kind of just follow the general rules, like don't be an asshole and just be smart, etc., etc. But hopefully this will help out some of you guys with any sort of clarifications. I'm going to be reading through them entirely fresh today, so please be patient with me because I'll be comprehending them and understanding them myself as well. So it's essentially the same as if someone was reading them, like these really lengthy, wordy kind of rules for the first time and trying to put them in a more succinct, like reasonable format. But this sparked, I was interested in this because someone recently in my Discord got banned because they said it was because they shared their account with a friend. They said they quit the game, they shared their account with a friend, and they said like their account got banned. And I was like, I'm pretty sure sharing accounts or account sharing isn't actually against the rules, and I don't think it is. I kind of forget. I double checked. I don't think it is, but what must have happened, or what I assume happened, you still have responsibility over your account. So sharing accounts, well, I don't want to say that because I don't know quite yet, but we'll see. What happened was he shared his account with his friend, and his friend must have done something against the rules. And even though his friend was on the account, it's still his account. He's still responsible for it, so he got banned. So I feel for him. It really does suck, but at the same time, it really sucks. But it is your responsibility. Like you shouldn't lend your account even to friends, because if they break the rules and they get banned, it's your account that gets lost, and it's really sad. That has to happen that way, but it only makes sense. Like from the devs' perspective, what else can they do? Like that's your responsibility. Like it makes total sense. So let's go ahead and cover it. So PokeMMO's services are governed by certain rules. The rules of the Code of Conduct are maintained and exclusively enforced by PokeMMO's staff and must be adhered by all users. Let's go ahead and start. Rules related to chat and communication with other users. You may not harass, threaten, embarrass, or cause distress or unwanted attention to other people past people using our services. This includes posting insulting or offensive or abusive comments about people, repeatedly sending unwanted messages, reporting users maliciously, attacking a player based on race, sexual orientation, religion, heritage, etc. Pretty simple stuff. Just be a nice person. You may not spam, flood, or repeatedly make duplicate posts. Messages composed of gibberish messages outside of their designed chat channels are considered spam. This is a easier one. Like you can definitely get muted temporarily for memeing around with friends. I think I got muted once, way back in the day. I think I was just memeing on a friend. I think I was memeing on like Reezy or something way back in the day. If you're a veteran player, you probably know Reezy. I think I was just spamming like Reezy smells or something, or Reezy stinks. He's literally a friend of mine, so I was like kind of memeing on him back in the day, or it literally might have been like I love Reezy or something like that, just spamming in like normal chat, and I got muted for like 12 hours or something, and that's okay. Maybe 6 hours. That happens. It's not a big deal. I deserved it. Like it's not a big deal. So if that happens to you, try not to take it as a personal attack. It kind of just happens sometimes. Not a big deal. Just try not to spam normal chat. Or that happened when I was like also like 16 years old as reference. So it was a long time ago, but try not to spam chats. Pretty simple. You may not impersonate any other person. I've actually seen this pop up and people will get banned and have no idea why, and I have to explain to them, impersonating staff, impersonating literally anyone else, any sort of celebrity or anything. If your username is that, even if it's a joke, it still goes under the impersonating thing. And usually they'll just ask you to like change your name. They're not gonna like permaban you. If your name's like Dwayne the Rock Johnson, they're not gonna like permaban you, but they may ask you like, hey, like change your name. I get it. It's understandable. It kind of just goes into like usually people who are doing that are trying to scam or get something out of people. I understand. You may not solicit, advertise, or promote any other services other than PokeMMO Guides and PokeMMO services without the expressed written consent of PokeMMO. I actually say this all the time. Please don't spam my YouTube links in in global chat or any sort of chat. It may sound obvious, but dude, I get a lot of people like saying that other people are spamming my YouTube links or spamming, even if like. It's tough because like you can talk about my YouTube and I appreciate it. I'm absolutely honored how many fans I see or how many people and players I'll see talking about my YouTube and global chat. It's an absolute honor, but please don't spam my YouTube links. It makes me look bad. It makes me look like an asshole, like the self-promotion. I appreciate it. Usually people who are doing that are just trying to like spread my content because maybe it's helped them so much, and that's the biggest flatter I could possibly have. But at the same time, don't spam it around, please. Or don't spam any sort of link or any sort of thing like that. Rule number E, you may not upload, attempt to distribute files, or facilitate the distribution of files that contain malicious software. That's really self-explanatory. You may not transmit distribute any other player's personal information. That's really easy. Don't dox people. That's like a huge rule on the internet. Please don't dox people. That is probably one of the worst things you can do. You may not transmit, post, link, or facilitate, distribute any sexually explicit, drug-related, political, harmful, threatening, abusive, defamatory, infringing. That's just like, don't do anything crazy. Don't do anything unhinged. Keep the hinges on, boys. You will follow the instructions of PokeMMO staff while using PokeMMO services. Really important one. A lot of people love to, and I get it. I think, especially when I was younger, dude, I fucking hated authority. I always hated listening to teachers. I hated listening to everyone. I get it, but please, when you're using PokeMMO, please just listen to the moderators. It's the easiest way to not get banned. I see so many people be like #fuck the mods or something in global chat just to be like edgy or funny. Just don't risk it. Why? Just don't do that. Anyways, on to the second set of rules. Rules related to gameplay. You may not exploit errors in design, bugs, or features which may have not been documented to gain access to, which are otherwise not available, or to gain advantage over other users. You may not communicate any exploitable issues, either directly, public posting, to any other users of PokeMMO services. I actually try really hard to, it's sometimes I kind of make, you could argue I made a mistake about this previously with the, what event? I probably broke this rule, honestly. Go ahead and please don't ban me, but you could honestly suspend me temporarily if that's what you deem fit, PokeMMO. But there was a glitch during was it the 10-year anniversary event? I forget what event it was. I think it was the anniversary event. With all of the trainers, I think it was the 10-year anniversary event, with all the trainers running around, there was a glitch that if you battled Alder and defeated him, you would get like 3,500 BP, which can't have been intended. That's the reward you would get for defeating him in the Elite Four. So I think what happened was there was a trigger there, like, after you defeat Alder, you get the BP you would get from defeating the Elite Four, but it was just happening if you defeated him in the overworld just for the event, which I think was like a super extra bonus. I did make a bug report about that bug before making a video about it. I was really careful to do that because I really wanted them to answer it as soon as possible. And but I posted the video and they didn't fix the bug for like, I don't know if they ever fixed it during the entire event. So I don't know, maybe it wasn't a bug, maybe it was intentional, but I was kind of surprised. Like, that was a lot of BP. Like, getting 3,500 BP every time you battle Alder was pretty insane. That's, for those who don't know, that's like equal to like, I want to say it's like 40k Pokeyen or something, like on top of the Pokeyen you're already earning. Because if you got that 3 times, that would be like that'd be enough for a choice batch, like a choice star for a choice band if you did like 3 times, plus a little more. Yeah, that was a lot of Pokeyen. It was a lot of Pokeyen. It was a lot of value. Plus, it was like 40k on top of like the 40k you were already getting at the time for the anniversary chest. So it was like pretty damn good. And I was really surprised, but they didn't fix it. So maybe it wasn't a bug, but yeah, try not to exploit any bugs. If you find any bugs that especially could be exploited, the reason the Alder bug wasn't that bad in my opinion, that I kind of exposed it or talked about it, was because people were kind of battling everyone anyway. Like, it wasn't like people were like, you couldn't like choose to go battle Alder. It was just random what NPCs would appear. So people were battling everyone anyway. So it was kind of like hey, you get an extra reward. You were going to do this anyway, but it's cool to know you get an extra reward, I guess. It wasn't really a bug you could exploit / abuse too much besides prioritizing Alder, but that was pretty much it. So yeah, watch out for those bugs. It's important to be aware of that. It's really easy to exploit a bug and not really think about the negatives or think about like, hey, like this is kind of fucked up, etc. So just keep that in the back of your mind. All right, I talked about that rule for a really long time. On to 2B. While participating in PvP, you may not participate in any form of match manipulation. Match manipulation is defined as any actions taken to manipulate the outcome of a match or alter or manipulate any official rankings. This is a really important one that a lot of casual players might think to do to kind of game the system, but might get them banned because certain formats are pretty, I would say, quiet, especially at certain times, pretty dead, I'd say. Certain formats like doubles are really dead at most times of the day. If you queue for like doubles PvP at like 10 a.m., you could probably just queue against your friends and just play games. And like if you queue against your friends and like just play games and like play seriously and you both try your best, that's probably fine. But don't win trade. Don't like hop on an alt account and like lose over and over and over again to like try to gain elo on like doubles or something like that. That will get you banned. That is match manipulation. So please do not do that. You may not use cheats. This is a really important one that I'm surprised. Coming from like an MMO background, I'm always shocked when people don't understand this is against the rules. It's absurd how many people I'll see like type in my Discord being like, yeah, I'm like using this macro. I'm like, dude, don't do that. That is so against the rules. It's so immoral, let alone like, illegal to the rules. It's insane. But you may not use cheats. Automation software, commonly known as scripts, macros, or bots, hacks, or any sort of third-party software that can be detrimental to other users' experience, nor will you relay or store any items for other users who are using these processes. Don't do this. Absolutely do not. It's shocking to me how many people don't understand that like any sort of scripts, macros, or bots are against any sort of multiplayer games rules. Like, I can't think of a single multiplayer game where this would be okay. I think World of Warcraft allows like sort of in-game macros or something like that, or some sort of they have like an in-game screen for it, I believe. But yeah, don't do this. Holy crap. Like, this is like a huge no-no. Like, do not advertise you're using bots. Don't use them, first of all, but don't advertise them in my Discord. It's crazy how many people I've seen do this. Don't do this. It's so dumb. Don't do this. It'll also ruin your experience for the game. Just please don't use scripts, macros, or bots. Thank you. All right. You may not use the game or any service for any commercial purpose without the explicit written consent of PokeMMO, including but not limited to gathering in-game currency, items, performing service, or for sale outside the game. Okay, so this is just real-world money trading. Use at a cyber cafe, computer gaming center. Okay, this is essentially just saying, hey, don't do in-game services for commercial purpose, which is like real world money. So this is just a very complex way or complex wording of saying don't real world trade, or they call it real money trade. I'm used to real world trade. That's the term we use in RuneScape, RWT. It's RMT here, I guess. I don't know what's the more common one. I don't know like what's more widespread, but if you hear me say RWT or RMT, it's referring to the same thing. It's just trading in-game services or in-game items for IRL money. Don't go, even to your friends, don't go trade, even your best friend, don't go trade him like $5 for like a shiny Raticate or whatever it may be, right? Don't go trade shinies for money or any sort of things for real world dollars. That is usually a huge no-no in MMOs. It's against the rules. It makes it unfair for other players, etc., etc. Now, if they were to ever create an in-game thing where you could do that, it'd be cool. It's something like Diablo 3. Diablo 3 was infamous for having an in-game shop or in-game like world trading shop where you could just buy gear with real dollars, and it was like an in-game auction house that ran off of US dollars. I always thought that was like one of the coolest things in any MMOs. I would love to see an MMO with that sort of function, but if they don't promote that function, if they don't have that function, please don't do it. You may not defraud other users of in-game currency. This is just no scamming. Don't defraud other in-game currencies, resources, or services to perform, commonly known as scamming. This is really common. I've seen a lot of scammers get banned. I always say, and I have a video coming about on how not to get scammed. It might be out by the time this video is out. It probably is already out. But one of the most common ones is the Ditto box scam. And I always say, clearly communicate. If you're trading with someone, say before the trade, okay, I'm trading you 200k Pokeyen for this Ditto box, correct? ? And if they say yes, and then they scam you, like, they're fucked. Like, if you communicate clearly in chat and you have the chat logs, I record every Ditto box trade as well as I do on OBS. I record everything just in case. But I've only been scammed once, and I got scammed once for a Ditto box, and that person ended up getting banned because they scammed multiple people, which is hilarious. They ended up getting banned, and I ended up getting my 200k back, and I also got like 5 free Dittos. It sucks because you lose like you lose some time, I guess, because you don't get the money back for like a week or whatever until they like review the case and everything. But if someone scams you, there's a really good chance that if you did everything correctly, if you have all the logs, there's a really good chance that player gets banned or at least punished, and you'll often get your money back. Now, there are certain situations where you won't get your stuff back, and I don't want to talk about that because that'll encourage scammers to go through with that. But yeah, those suck the worst. Those are the worst situations. But essentially, don't scam people because it is against the rules. The moderators do go against it. They will take action. You will get banned. That's pretty much it. All right, we're almost actually done, which is awesome. I think we have like 2 more sections that are a little shorter to cover. Rules related to usernames, character names, team names. When you choose to create a username, team name, otherwise create a label which can be seen by other players using our services, you must abide by the following rules. You may not use any username or team name which belongs to another person with the intent to impersonate them. We've already covered that, so don't impersonate people. Incorporates offensive, racial, ethnic, national, or cultural connotations. Incorporates bigotry or hate speech. Is sexually suggestive or pornographic. References any form of criminal activity or drugs. That's probably the most common one. I think people love to name themselves like Weedster 420 or like like some sort of like stoner guy or stoner boy. You can kind of get away with them for a while, but just you're gonna end up having a name change. So like usually it's not a big deal. Usually you won't get like banned or suspended. Usually it's just a name change. But just try to not do that. Makes inappropriate references to the human anatomy or bodily functions, is compromised of gibberish, or uses misspellings or alternative spellings of any of the above guidelines. People will always try to do the workarounds. Like whenever you're playing any sort of game or any sort of MMO or any sort of game run by a platform, right, or any sort of service, you're always at their discretion. So if you spell stoner but replace the like E with a 3, like they know what you're doing. Like you can't get away with that. So just make sure they're not dumb. Don't play dumb. Don't act like they're dumb. Just follow the rules, guys. Not too hard. Let's go ahead and go on to miscellaneous rules. You may not attempt to facilitate facilitate any attempts to bypass any restrictions set in place, user accounts or characters. This is an interesting one. Bypass any restrictions set in place. I assume this is once again sort of a tack on to the exploitation of bugs, is what my guess would be. Honestly, that one's a little interesting. Exploits, as defined by Section 2, Paragraph A of this document, must be communicated to PokeMMO staff within a reasonable time frame, either PokeMMO's website or the email address. So yeah, if you find any like super exploitable bugs, or especially if you accidentally, this is really important, if you accidentally exploit a bug, I really recommend sending a support request or sending a ticket to the devs, because you could get accidentally banned for like a really serious. It had to be a really serious bug, but if you accidentally exploit a really serious bug, you could get banned unless you submit a bug report to them. So it's really easy though. Just let them know like, hey, this happened on accident. I really didn't mean to. This is what I did to cause it, and hopefully you guys can fix it soon. I won't do it again. Thank you. And you'll be absolutely 100% safe if you go through that. On to 4C, you may not use any unauthorized third-party software that intercepts or otherwise collects information through the game or services, including but not limited to any software that reads areas of computer RAM used by the game, or any software that reads attempts to manipulate network traffic between the client and the game server. That's pretty simple for most people, pretty easy. You may not use any sort of virtual machines. This is an interesting one. So people actually have tried to use virtual machines to run multiple clients and stuff, because you can't actually load 2 PokeMMO clients on one device. If you try to, it'll like log you out on the other one. I've tried. I wish you could. I really wish you could multi-box, honestly, or whatever it's called. People use different names for it: multi-log, multi-box, etc. And MMOs. But yeah. You actually can't do this. And the reason they do this is not to obviously get rid of your safety or anything like that. The reason you can't use a virtual machine to run PokeMMO is because it prevents bots. People would be able to spam a lot more bot accounts. People use it as a way to get around not being able to run multiple clients on their devices so that they can bot on more accounts. So essentially virtual machine users are usually botting or usually using it to get around botting. So that's kind of why they have to ban it for everyone. So they put a lot of rules in place and a lot of things to take care of bots, and it ends up working really well to their credit. So you know what? Fair enough. Now on to number E. You agree that you will not under any circumstance, any applicable by law or regulation and connect with your use of the game or PokeMMO services. That's pretty easy. Don't do illegal stuff. There's also one rule down here that you guys actually can't see on screen. I'll just read really quickly. Rule number 4F. You may not disrupt or assist in the disruption of any computer used to support this. So don't DDoS them is really what that means, and any other user's experience. So don't DDoS the PokeMMO servers or player base. That's really easy. DDoSing is often usually illegal as well. So yeah, it's pretty easy. Pretty simple stuff. That pretty much covers everything, I believe. It is important to note that whenever you're playing any sort of game or any sort of service, they can ban you for no reason. You never, like, it sucks, and it'll rarely happen. It'll like pretty much never happen. They'll never like abuse their power like that, right? Because there'll be a lot of social backlash. But they are allowed to. Whenever you play a game like this, you're always pretty much signing terms and agreements where a game like PokeMMO or a game like RuneScape, they have the right to ban you without any reason, and that it sucks. But they'll pretty much never act on it, is kind of the meme. It's pretty much the reason most MMOs and most games include that law or that ruling is because they can always point to it if someone is essentially not agreeing with the way they were banned. They can say, well, hey, even though like we think you bought it or we know you bought it and like you're trying to just deny it, we can just point to this. We can also just ban you at any time. So it's kind of like a workaround. It kind of just gets them out of those arguments and those disputes, which is honestly smart. It protects the devs and it protects the games, that I understand. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like on it. If you didn't and you hated hearing me ramble for so long, leave a dislike. Leave comments, questions, concerns, any sort of feedback in the comment section below. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for daily PokeMMO content. Check out the Discord link down below to learn a lot about the game at a rapid pace. Check out all the resources we have in my sick Discord. And then finally, if you do want to go above and beyond, if my content has either A, informed you, or B, helped you enough or entertained you through your PokeMMO journey, I do really appreciate it. If you have some extra funds, extra, disposable income, don't give me money. If you're starving, if you need food, if you need some sick new kicks, if you want to buy new shoes, I recommend doing that as opposed to giving money to me. But if you have the extra money and you appreciate my content enough, becoming a YouTube member for $5 a month, dropping on Twitch Prime or Twitch sub over on my Twitch, or hitting up my PayPal or Venmo is appreciated but never required. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate your time. Hopefully these videos are helpful, and I will see you guys tomorrow.